If protecting Black women were a phrase to describe the kind of content, or shall I say, series and films that we are currently consuming, whether it be on network television, a linear television model, or in theaters, or on streaming services, then we would be failing miserably. And I know I say this and people are going to argue me down on this subject matter, but let me just explain to you why I'm choosing this position. One, being a television producer for almost 20 years and being in television production for over 20 years, when I got into this business, I didn't have a lot of people necessarily ahead of me that I could look up to, from the sense of that wasn't an occupation that was being portrayed on television. And also, it wasn't really something that you could learn per se in classes, but well, depending on what program you were in school or what school you went to. But also, it is something you learn when it's a very hands on learning position by being a television producer. Now, for those who want to be actresses, for those that want to follow in the footsteps of those that have come before them, yes, there are plenty of shows that feature Black females. But when I'm speaking of leads versus an ensemble cast that features Black characters, I want to explain what that is. In a lead, I'm speaking of series like Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder, where the people leading those series were Kerry Washington, Viola Davis. They were in a Black lead position. Whereas if you would look at shows that a lot of us might have grown up with, The Cosby Show, for instance, or even A Different World, you couldn't even look at those women as being leads that were in those roles because those were ensemble casts. There wasn't one particular lead that was leading a series. So between 2021 and now that we're in 2025, with the I guess you could say, emergence of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, where they were trying to widen the table for people in executive positions at studios, networks, and those who are making more decisions in terms of the creative. And then, of course, more diverse programming, where you saw series and films that reflected what society looks like, the melting pot, right? You saw more programs being created, but within a 3-year span, a lot of them have been wiped off the board, particularly now that DEI has been marked as an illegal practice in this country. Won't even get into that because we ain't got that kind of time. But let's talk about why I have noticed the dissolution of so many series featuring Black female leads. So if we're looking at what's currently streaming or on the air that has Black female leads, and I'm talking about this particular, the main character, the central character of the story is a Black female lead. What we currently have is Ironheart, which will be coming out on Disney Plus this summer. That will be starring Dominique Thorne. Shout out to Dominique, Soror, oop, all that good stuff. That was a weak oop, but I got a limited amount of time here. The Residents, starring Uzo Adubi. She plays a lead detective in a Knives Out style mystery series. Very quirky, cool, cute, but very comedic. Also, shows this character has a lot of layers to it. It is exec produced by Shonda Rhimes, and that is a part under her deal with Netflix. Forever. Shout out to the Akils who've been doing it for so long, but particularly Mara Brock Akil, who's been in the game for a minute, really trying to, carve out a lane to show that we're not a monolith as Black people. We have varying character traits, backgrounds, degrees of education, pedigree. We're not just all one particular person. And she's been able to show that with so many characters and is successfully doing that with Forever on Netflix, which just picked up a season 2 after its debut in May of 2025. Now, the reason that I kind of am on the line about forever being a Black female-led series is that even though it follows a romance with two Black teens, a Black male and a Black female, it is still an ensemble cast project. But Google Gemini says that it is a Black female-led series. So I'm going to let AI, I know, so controversial, especially this day and age with how people feel about AI in any industry. But we're going to since it's rocking out and AI is starting to give us their opinion on things, I'm going to let them have it on that. Clean slate, Laverne Cox. Laverne Cox done worked hard to get where she is, right? Orange is the New Black, doing people hair in jail. Got to be a tough position, right? An actress who has transitioned through her life and has stood 10 toes down on showing that representation matters as a trans female actress. Canceled after one season. Shame. Was on Prime Video. Now, who we are going to give it up to. Let's look at this page on Yahoo. It gives us 2025 series that are coming up with Black female leads. And I'm going to tell you the difference between ensemble and Black female-led shows. Ironheart, again, starring Dominique Thorne. This is where she'll be reprising her role. We were introduced to her initially in Wakanda Forever. She'll be returning as Riri Williams, who is an MIT student who picks up the helm of basically picking up where Iron Man left off, right? She is now, carrying the mantle. Y'all have already hated online on this series, so we won't even get into that. Rel and I in a previous discussion on YouTube, we talked about how y'all was coming for this trailer, and we explained why it might not have been the best trailer, but doesn't mean the series isn't going to be good. We think the series is going to be good because, one, it's a Ryan Coogler special. He's an executive producer, and it is being led by a very, very talented showrunner. Okay. The Bear. Yes. Ayo Adibri is in this series. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Ayo, my apologies. Your last name, I apologize for that. Even if I'm pronouncing your first name incorrectly, please let me know. The Bear, very successful series, won a ton of awards. Who is in the center of this thumbnail? Is it Ayo? No, it's Jeremy Allen White. And I am not hating on the fact that Jeremy Allen White, I think he's a very talented and amazing actor. I used to watch him on Shameless. This kid's amazing. But ensemble cast, and Ayo is a supporting character on this show, not the central character. This character is following Jeremy Allen White, trying to make the former Chicago sandwich shop that his brother owned and ran into a very successful, upscale restaurant. Where are the Black female leads in this? Where are the Black female leads in this? Huh? All I see here, now granted, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson has built quite a successful media empire with Stars and Lionsgate. Hats off. But I don't see no sisters in here. Now, maybe they star in they actually are supporting characters within this series. But all I'm seeing is Big Meech Jr. and Da Vinci. I think that's his name. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. But I don't see no sisters in here. Okay, moving on. Seriously? Y'all call this a Black female-led series and the thumbnail got Sarah Jessica Parker in it? Y'all know y'all was wrong for this. Okay, moving on. Now, yes, after receiving a lot of flack for returning the Sex and the City story continuing on Max within Just Like That, and receiving a lot of flack for one, coming back without Samantha, who was a fan favorite, but following the stories of Carrie, Charlotte, and Miranda, a lot of us gave it a lot of flack when it returned because we gave it a lot of flack from its first time around, like y'all all in Manhattan with no Black friends. And this is pretty typical. We've seen this before. We saw it with Friends itself and so many other series that they just didn't know no black people and lived in New York, and that's fine. That tends to be a lot of people's lives that aren't black. But they learn their lessons because of DEI and got some black friends. Nicole Ari Parker, she's going to be coming back, reprising her role of Lisa Todd Wexley. And we've also seen great performances from Karen Pittman, who we also love as the mother of Justin Forever. And of course, we also love her as Maya in another Apple TV series, The Morning Show. She is also in this series as well. But it looks like Nicole Ari Parker she kind of has been somewhat of the fourth member of the crew. It looks like she will be reprising her role. Still, ensemble cast. And if we all remember the original Sex in the City, if anybody was the central character of the show, it was the person that narrated it. And who is that? Carrie. And Carrie is played by who? Sarah Jessica Parker. So again, not a black female led show. Washington Black. Okay, if I just go through, I ain't gonna lie, if I just go through the, went into Instagram, my bad, y'all. Rival. Okay, now, if I just go through this slideshow on here, I love me some Sterling K. Brown. Love him. Fantastic actor. But tell me how this is a black female led series when this is the first person I see on a slideshow about this series coming to Hulu. It's based on a novel by the same name. It is coming to Hulu. Sterling K. Brown, fantastic. Outstanding actor. Okay, but let's go back to the Washington Black slideshow. Oh, this thing is flying on me. Okay, hold on. Oh, Lord, it done lost its mind. Okay, somewhere in here there's a black woman. But there's a black woman that plays in this cast. And this series is about a 19th century odyssey of George Washington Wash Black, an 11-year-old boy who was born on a Barbados sugar plantation, who's, basically a prodigy. And he will be, setting off on a path of unexpected destiny. I think this is an incredible concept. I actually can't wait to watch this because we don't see ourselves in enough of these roles. And, people of African descent, particularly in the 19th century, they was doing their thing. I mean, we were inventing a lot of things that people enjoy the remnants of to this day. So I am kind of excited to see an Odyssey historical fiction based series. I think this is going to be cool. All right. Now I know what y'all are going to say because here I come. Yes. Because what did we need more of? A Tyler Perry series. So, as we know, most of his series tend to be ensemble cast, just like his films. Divorced Sisters, which will be, I guess, somewhat of a extension of the Sisters universe because we couldn't get enough of the sisters. Now we need them divorced. This is them navigating the challenges of life, love that come with divorce, marriage, and dating. Okay, this is where I'm going to probably step in it. Y'all just gonna have to come for me on it. Tyler Perry is kind of like what Oprah used to be to a lot of us when we first got into media, a lot of us black females, I'm saying. Oprah was always used as an example of us making it. When we complained that it wasn't enough of us, being represented in terms of in the rooms, making the decisions, running our own shows, our own media companies and empires, it was like, well, you guys have Oprah, even though like the dominant race in this country had like 200,000 representations of that one particular person. Like, you had for every Oprah, you had like 20, Caucasian talk show hosts. But it was like, okay, but y'all have Oprah. And I think that's the thing. It's kind of like, Tyler Perry does not speak for all of us. I really do mean that. He actually doesn't speak for me as a black female at all. So, and I may be really stepping in it for that, but there's just a lot of things. I think it was best said by a hairstylist I had recently when she was giving me a treatment for my hair. She said, it just feels like all of the women in his projects feel like they need to be saved by love. That really stuck with me because I could never put my finger on what bothered me about some of the character development. And when she said that, I was like, that's a good one. Okay, moving on. Still ensemble cast. See, just based on this thumbnail. Okay. See what I'm saying? They don't even have like it's men all up in this too. And these two even have a spinoff about her being saved by his love. So there, it's coming back for a season. I mean, you want to find dysfunction? Watch this series. Seriously, like it is. If people, let's just say, this is where I have issues because I don't want to get too far into my Tyler Perry situation because I don't want people calling me out. Or you can. I mean, this is where I have the issues in terms of like some of his stuff, right? And if this, say people don't watch anything else that has us starring in it. If they just went off of a Tyler Perry, like because he has so much real estate on so many different streaming services and networks, and they just went off of his projects, man, woo, would our representation be very undervalued and under like served. And the reason I'm saying this is because I remember actually a colleague I used to work with, her father is actually, she was first generation American. Her father and her mother are from Nigeria. She said he had, as a African man, black African man, was prejudiced against American black people based off of what he saw on BT. And that was BT when BT had like, some legitimate news programming and stuff like just the music videos and stuff like that back in the day. Could you imagine if he was watching Tyler stuff? Oh my gosh. Okay. I digress. Great representation forever. Amazing. Wonderful, wonderfully done series. Can't sing Mara Akil and her team's praises enough. A lot of great directors worked on this project. Anthony Hemingway, but most importantly, they had some really great female directors that came in that were part of this project. Regina King is an executive producer, one of my favorites, executive producer, and directed some episodes on this first season. And Timby Banks directed some episodes as well. Extremely well done. Great series. Coming back for a season 2, but still 2 people. This thumbnail didn't have one woman in it. Ensemble cast. Okay, when you guys can tell me who the black female lead is in this, get back to me. Especially when the thumbnail, and I love Anthony Mackie, but get back to me on that. Y'all was wrong for this. Who is in Squid Game? Seriously. I mean, it's a known Korean series. Like what? And I love representation matters. It should be a successful Korean series on Netflix, but uh, I didn't. I saw pieces of the first season because, my partner in life, he'll watch a lot of different, which also brings me into watching more things. I try to watch as many diverse series as I possibly can because I want us to keep having opportunities with the more diverse projects. But I didn't see no black people in Squid Game, so it's okay, fine. Eyes of Wakanda. So animation, seriously, that's fine. I love the fact that we're. Oh, what is this? Sorry, guys. There's some work being done around our clubhouse. Okay. I love the fact that we're continuing with our Black Panther expansion, but animation. Okay, I guess we got to take what we got to take. But Eyes of Wakanda clearly is going to be. I think it's going to be around the women that provide the security, right? Those generals and stuff like that. So, but still gonna be ensemble. The Gilded Age. Unless Danae Benton and Audra McDonald's stories are the main ones that we're going to be seeing in this upcoming season, then y'all need to stop. But I still look forward to seeing what Danae Benton and Audra McDonald do in this series. She's a 6-time Tony winner, fantastic actress and songstress. And Danae Benton is also a Broadway star. We always want to give it up for people from the stage, particularly because that means they're just on another level. But let's talk about all the shows that were canceled. Clean Slate, canceled. Black Lead, Laverne Cox. Harlem, yes, ensemble cast, but technically led by Megan Good. Canceled after 3 seasons. Sorry, I'm not looking through more. Bel Air. Yes, ensemble cast, but this upcoming season will be its last. The Equalizer. CBS. Queen Latifah. Canceled. Found. Starring, oh my gosh, what? Shanola Hampton. Canceled. Was it 3 seasons or 2? Can't remember. I think it was 2 seasons. 2 seasons. Canceled. Black female lead. So a lot of Black female led shows have been canceled. And in some other series that have been running with Black females as a part of an ensemble cast, their characters are now being subdued. For example, Danielle Monet Truitt recently quoted in articles with season 5 of Law and Order Organized Crime, which is one of Rel's and our favorites. She was quoted by saying that she wants Ayanna Bell's character that she plays Sergeant Ayanna Bell. She wants her character to show, more diversity, for lack of a better word, in the fact where it's not those Black female tropes that we tend to fall into when we're in these types of roles, where she is the mama bear of the unit, because it's a specialized task force that she leads up trying to take down organized crime in the big city. She's like, but I don't want to be like, the mama bear, like, all right, get your stuff together, guys. Y'all, checking on everybody, making sure their mental health is okay. Meanwhile, her whole stuff is falling apart, because that tends to happen with a lot of Black female roles in these types of series. And how did the showrunner, because they went through about 4 or 5 before they got this season out, how did they respond to it? I think we saw her in 3 episodes this season. So she was penalized, and you all can get back to me at Peacock if I'm wrong, penalized for her actually speaking her truth about not wanting to fall into that trope as an actress herself, but also not wanting that for her character. Now, everybody else can sit down on these series and say what they don't want for their characters and what they, after it's done about 3 or 4 seasons, right? When they get over that 3-season hump, people are like, this is what I want from my character. Oh, everybody else can sit and ask for those things, but not the sister. She gets put in a corner. And that series now went from being somewhat diverse to now looking like the other Law and Order. Except the one with Mehcad Brooks, and we know how y'all be doing him. Okay, so now another, let me see. I'll show you, and then let me tell you who's winning in this game. Amazon, we'll come back to them because y'all publicly kind of shot DEI in the foot too. So I don't know, I'm feeling some type of way. But you at least have series with diversity in it. So I will give Amazon that. Who is really winning these DEI, winning in these streets with representation, at least in their cast? I still would like to see a few more Black female-led series. Netflix. That's probably why they have some of the biggest subscribers in the game. They are winning over every other platform. Apple Plus. Apple Plus has about 20 shows with Black female leads. No, I'm just kidding. No, Apple Plus, though, seriously. This upcoming season, this is the shows that Apple Plus will have on its network. So right now, Government Cheese is airing season 1. It stars Simone Missick, David Aiello. And this is about, a man recently released by prison, and he has a long-awaited family reunion. It doesn't quite go as planned, but it's a quirky family, pursuing lofty dreams. So trying to pursue the American dream it's a period piece too, 1969, San Fernando Valley. That is on Apple Plus. Also, just premiered, we get an extension of Mythic Quest. Now, those of you that watched Mythic Quest, Rel and I watched like a good majority of season 1, found it really humorous. They're expanding their season, expanding their universe, and now have a predominantly Black cast leading a new series entitled Side Quest. It dropped recently on Apple Plus. It's starring Bria Henderson and Shalita Grant. Now it also has Leon, Len, Raymond Reed, Leonard Robinson. Sorry, Leonard. Sorry, Leonard Robinson and Rome Flynn. A lot of you guys may not. Those of you that don't know who Rome Flynn is, he plays Frank Lucas on the latest season of Godfather of Harlem, and also he was in season 2 of Raising Dion. We also have For All Mankind, starring Christ Marshall. That is also in its season 5. The date is to be determined, but it is also coming out this year. That is on Apple Plus. And Dope Thief had its first season premiered on Apple Plus, starring Nesta Cooper. This is also an ensemble, but it's based on Dennis Tafoya's book Dope Thief, and it follows long-term Philly friends and delinquents who pose as DEA agents to rob an unknown house in the countryside, only to have their grift become a life and death enterprise. So this is, got quite a bit of buzz, Dope Thief. That's another one on Apple Plus. And Surface. Its season 2 came out this February, starring Juju Mabath of Raw on Apple Plus. So those are, we got to give it up to the streaming services that are representing us and actually trying to show us in various different forms and different lights, different types of employment, different types of dreams and goals. And we have to celebrate that. We have to support that because, like I said earlier on, we're not a monolith. And I love the fact, as a matter of fact, just like that, a friend of mine who I worked with on an OWN series recently pointed out how one of the ladies on And Just Like That worked in production and how she aspired to have her closet, because we all work on Avid Media Composer in the industry because it's still industry standard. And she was saying the woman had an Avid in her closet. That's how big her closet was in Manhattan. So we know how well she was doing. But she said it was so cool because the woman would work on her projects at home at times on her Avid. And she said, that's the kind of closet I want, because she works in production too. And it was really cool. So it's like it gives us things to aspire to. We didn't grow up seeing images like that. And now a young girl can watch And Just Like That, although it's a little mature, but someone that might be, in high school or in college and may watch episodes of And Just Like That and see that character in her closet on her Avid. I believe that's Nicole Ari Parker's character. And actually say, wow, this is something I can aspire to. This is something that I can work towards. And that's all we're asking, giving people other chances to see hopes and dreams, and maybe thinking outside the box and seeing other versions of themselves beyond what maybe their existence is. And even if their existence is in a privileged suburban upbringing. So I think that is something that, because I know for me, both of my parents went to Black colleges, but it really was, as a child, seeing a different world and the images of the camaraderie of of course, going to homecomings with my parents did help that as well. But seeing the camaraderie that took place on that series was like, gosh, if this is, a reflection of some of what you get to see at a Black college, then that's where I want to go. I want to be with my people. Because I grew up in a privileged atmosphere in a predominantly Jewish community. I didn't grow up, most of my friends were of the same background, but it's still same racial background, but it still was like I got to see what life looked like, that was different beyond my own home. But then by seeing images on television of what I aspired to my college life to look like, if I had had that for my professional life too, imagine. You never know. And that's why I'm fighting for more Black female led television series, or I should say narrative series and films, because there's very few of them running around too. Just because you give us a G20 every now and then and oh my goodness, I can't even think about another one. Oh, a couple other things. Hulu, y'all got to get y'all stuff together too, because y'all cancel quite a few things. Unprisoned, canceled. Um, Peacock, we already talked about y'all, but you also are canceling Bel Air. So y'all got to work on your representation as well. And that is my 2 cents. I appreciate you taking the time to listen.